TCG Investment has radically changed over the last 6 months. Well, what's up everyone? Welcome back to KitchenTableTCG. I hope you're having yourself a fantastic day, that you're finding some joy today in your life in this cardboard hobby that we all find ourselves in. My name's Louie. I'm here today to talk to you about investing in trading card games and how I've seen things radically change over the last 6 months. And I don't really know what to do with it, and it's been really hard. A lot of people ask me in private messages and stuff, Louie, is now the time to buy? Should I be buying this? Should I be buying that? And my answer is simply, I don't know, because we've had such a radical shift in this entire ecosystem, not over just the last 6 months, but over the last 2 years. The entire ecosystem of TCGs has been so radically changed and rocked. It's just simply, I don't know exactly what to tell you. Here's my shot at it. 2 years ago, when the pandemic happened, we were all stuck in a box. We were all stuck in our homes, and we all fell in love with games. Some of us fell in love with Flesh and Blood. Later in it, you had the Metazoo stuff. We fell in love with these games that we could play on TTS and play online and all this stuff, and we had a lot of free time. I don't know if you remember, but I remember just being like, what am I supposed to do with myself? There's so many. I started 2 YouTube channels. I started this, I started that. I worked a lot more at my job. I couldn't go anywhere, so I was just always looking for things to do. And as a fan of trading card games, I couldn't get together with my friends. So what happened? I got online and I started buying cards. And this, the Logan Paul boom happened for Pokemon. This kicked off this wild world of kind of free tendies and everything going up. And invest in TCGs. It's all going to be great. The Flesh and Blood people, you guys remember this? We were all buying cold foils. It can't possibly go down. Metazoo came out, similar stuff happened. Everyone got really excited. The Kickstarter, post Kickstarter, as the boxes started going up, everyone started getting interested. It just turned into this really cool relationship with the game, and a lot of people were saying, man, these are the next TCGs. It's going to be really great. Started this YouTube channel. Obviously, I completely believe in it. I love it, and I was excited about it. And then over the last 6 months, that seemed great. The 2 years ago, it seemed like, hey, we had this big world event that has impacted the universe, and things radically change, and new TCGs can catch a lot of exposure and then grow as a result of that, and it seems to make sense. Long-term strategy, long-term growth, a jump start with the pandemic, kind of a jump start with us, like I said. But then 6 months ago, some things just really started radically changing. And you're no stranger to this if you've been on my channel, but there are a million TCGs. There's a bunch of them. They're just popping up like candy. There's this one here, there's this one there. Louie's got a bundle for this one here. There's a million TCGs popping up. And the conversation always comes back to, for some reason, investment. I want to talk about, I think that there's some inherent flaws with the current conversations. TCG Investment has changed in the last 6 months. The investors, the people who are throwing really, really high money, and first of all, I don't want to put everybody in a box. I know you as a viewer, you might be buying this or that. I'm going to try to make a general statement based on what I see, and I'm very curious to hear what you say in the comment section. But from being involved in all the discords, from following along with a lot of people, from having a lot of conversations, here's what I hear and here's what I see. The people who are investing, or maybe used to invest in some games and are now investing in other ones, are all about things. It's fast, it's about manipulation, and it doesn't care about history. So it's fast, meaning people are really, really moving quickly from game to game to game to game. They're here, they're there, they're everywhere, they're hopping, they're going. They're fast. This game can grow really fast, and then it's just gone. And the interaction, people's attention span, I think that's what it is. People's attention span is so small. It just goes from thing to thing to thing to thing. And it's about manipulation. A lot of the conversation seems to revolve around print run numbers and the ability to get a position, and a really quick position. It's about kind of buying up eBay sales and kind of driving the price of some of these, really print runs of like 1,000 boxes or sample sizes of 100 cards and that kind of thing. It's about manipulation. It's about the ability to control a market. Whereas in Magic the Gathering, you know, how many mana crypts were printed in the box? You can't really manipulate that market because there's so many of the cards. And then it doesn't care about history. And this being that typically when we have talked about trading card game investment, it's always been about the future and the longevity of the project. It's always been about how many people are going to play the game and its ability to be involved at the local game store. And no longer does the short-term investor care about that. And so listen to me, hear me say this first. This is all noise. In the grand scheme of the 50 years that trading card games are going to be worth it on this earth, or utilized on it, maybe 100, give me 100 years. Let's say, you know, trading cards started in 1990, I don't know when they started, and they'll go to 2000, whatever that is, 2001, I shouldn't have done math on the camera. 100 years. Let's say TCGs are relevant in this space of the universe for 100 years. I know you're like, Louis, what? Like, put it into perspective. Times are changing really fast. In 100 years from now, I'm not sure that trading card games are going to be relevant. But if you just take a step back, all this kind of short-term stuff is just noise. And it's noise because of a lot of things. Number one, games just got an increase in exposure in 2020. We were all kind of sitting on our couches and paying attention to things. And it's easy to invest. It's become easy to 4 or 5x your money very shortly as a result of more and more eyes on the games. And then you have this kind of the Kickstarter, the Patreon, the exclusivity where it's a FOMO thing. It's a fear of missing out. And then you have that combined with the small print run, and it sees this high potential, a large potential with a minimal amount of risk. Because every TCG wants to be the next Metazoo or the next Flesh and Blood, the next one to kind of make it mainstream. But I think there's an inherent flaw with that, and that's that a lot of the TCGs don't know what the behind the scenes looks like. A lot of the TCGs don't know the amount of work it takes to have the partnerships that Metazoo has, and the interactions that Metazoo has, and the constant the constant announcements of a million different things that Metazoo has. A lot of the TCGs have absolutely no clue how difficult it is to put on organized play programs like Flesh and Blood, and find LGSs that will actually host events and not just sell promos, and find things that that create this kind of tension in a box opening. Not all the TCGs understand how difficult those two things are, and it is those things that have made those games successful. So it's all noise. It's all short term. And here's my encouragement to you. If you want to be involved in that, that's great. Go be involved in that. Here's what I have found. As somebody who runs a YouTube channel on TCGs in general, what I have found is it requires an amazing amount of interaction and attention to be involved in all that. There's a million Discords. You have to be following all of them. You got to buy this, buy that, be on this Kickstarter, be on that, and it's a lot of work. And if you have time for that, then hop in, because there is no doubt a legitimate money to be made on some of these really fringe TCGs. I'm not going to name any names on them, but they're really small TCGs. There's legitimate money to be really easy to be made, but you have to have the attention span to look into it and to be invested in it. So my advice to you, instead of that, if you don't have time to, is to find games that you love. Find games that you love, because long term, it's all going to come back to that. You might miss out on some short-term gains. You might miss out on some short-term gains. But long term, it's the games that actually have a passionate fan base. Games that actually have people that really enjoy opening the packs and looking at the cards. I remember the first time I did a Kickstarter Metazoo stream, the chat was just on fire and people were just, going nuts because they loved the look of the cards. I know some people don't like them. I remember the first game of Flesh and Blood I played. I just absolutely fell in love with the mechanics and the interaction and the bouncing back and forth and the way that the resources worked, and I just fell in love with that. And I can remember just and you know, I had the similar experience playing Legions with Robbie. It was just something clicked to me that was like, this is important and this matters and this is fun and I enjoy it. And that's what made me really excited about these things. And then I think the other important thing is to look at what does success look for the games. And you know, as much as there's this short-term people in games who want their cards to be worth a bunch of money, there's also some games out there that are really, really good. That if you can fall in love with or that you enjoy, they are good investment strategies in that as long as they don't overscale, you know, games like Genesis and Legions, this is why I like these games, games like Genesis and Legions, as long as they don't overscale and try to be in, you know, 5,000 game stores by next year and print boxes for 5,000 game stores, as long as they just kind of slowly increase their print run, slowly increase their marketing, slowly increase their exposure, slowly work with this, you know, this person or that person and slowly build it, they're going to be just fine because they are creating fan bases that scale with them. Now, these games might not be the next Metazoo or Flesh and Blood or Magic or Pokemon. I hope that they are. I love those games. These games may not be those next games, but they can still be highly, highly successful if they have a loyal fan base that actually cares about the game, is not just trying to flip. Now, don't get me wrong. There is, if you care about investing, there is money to be made on the short-term investments at minimal risk, to be honest. You can pay, there's Patreons, you can pay $15 a month to get access to sample cards and whatever. In those games, it's minimal risk that could have a large potential reward, but you're not going to care about it. And if you don't care about it, if that's not your thing, you're not missing anything. And this video really, more than anything, I know I'm rambling now, but this video more than anything is to say, don't have the FOMO on some of these games that you might see skyrocketing over the next couple months. Because you will see sample cards from this and sample cards from that hitting $700, $800, looking more than this or more than that. Don't worry about that noise, that just the FOMO and the fear and did you do the wrong game? All you need to think about is, what game do I love? What game do I like collecting, investing, holding? Make sure that you don't overextend yourself, and make sure that at the end of the day, you're still having a good time being involved with whatever community that you're involved in the trading card world. Long term will always be the best. Long term will always produce the most joy, as long as you are invested in the joy and the love of the actual game and not just the short-term flip. And that's the end of this video. Don't undervalue the joy side of collecting. Don't undervalue the idea that you can just have fun and play a game and not necessarily worry about the money or the financial side of it. Don't underestimate the value that joy brings, the beautiful things about TCGs, all this stuff. You know, you want to use a core set 2015. I just recently got a core set 2015 bucks. You know why I'm okay with this core set 2015 bucks? I have no clue what this is worth. I don't really care. But you know what? If it goes to zero, I can open this box with my friends, have a nice fun draft, pretend like it's 2015 and I think I was in college and I just graduated college. Pretend like I'm, you know, enjoying the time back then and have a great time, because I love that product. I love Magic the Gathering. I really like old Magic the Gathering and Kamigawa, but I love the product and it's fun to enjoy. And so find things that you're passionate about and that you're excited about, and find things that you love and put your time and energy towards those things. I think that's a much better use of it than just worrying about the next short-term flip or that kind of thing. And I know that there are fans on my channel of all these games that legitimately just love it. They love looking at the art, they love looking at the art, they love looking at the thing, they love playing the game. They're trying to play multiplayer games that don't even have multiplayer formats. They're really hopping in, and so those people are long-term are going to find the most joy and thus be the most happy with their TCG investment. All right, that's all I got for you today. I hope that you have yourself a fantastic day. Remember to be kind to the people around you. We'll see you again next video.